service. Each member of the police department shall be appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the council pursuant to the provisions of this article. I'm positive that the city council did not confirm the hire of this new police officer. And he may be a wonderful gentleman, and he may be quite the wonderful addition to our police department. However, our city code states that we have the final say on such hires. As a matter of fact, I've FOIA'd at least 3 times a copy of the paperwork related to the city council's confirmation of each police officer on the Eureka Springs Police Force as required by City Code 2.4801. No answer. I cannot find that it's ever been done. It may have been done in the past. I don't think it's been done recently. So what kind of concerns me is we have a police chief who's been in his position for roughly 15 years, and he is sworn to uphold the Constitution and to enforce the codes of our city. And he's not even enforcing the very code that enables his police department. And that really bothers me. It seems like such a simple thing for him to comply with this. And, you know, I know he's a great guy and people love him and he does a lot of good things, but if he can't even enforce the codes that enables his own department, that seems to be a problem to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kirkpatrick?
No.
Mr. Panett?
Yes. Even though I don't want to say complain, I love listening to the citizens tell me their opinions and their constructive criticism, and I welcome that, and I would like for it to continue. I think a lot of times we get wrapped around the axle and we sit down and we're looking at an agenda, and I've gotten this feeling a couple times in past years before I even sat at this table, and I'm getting it even more in the 4 months, 5 months that we've been meeting, is that there are roll of the eyes that, oh my God, look at this agenda, let's take as much off here as we can and let's keep as much from going on. I think that's negligence on our part to sit here and say we can't add something to the agenda for discussion that is important to be discussed and have that stand based on 1 or 2 individuals sitting around the table is almost dictatorial. And it's offensive to the point that that's one of the things that I think needs to be clarified. You know, we sit here and we adopt Robert's Rules of Order on how we're going to operate, but only as it favors us and what we're trying to do, either as individuals or as at the table. The other thing, since I didn't get a second some time ago, and I don't have privy any longer to the agreement that the city signed that said we weren't going to take issue with any more issues of the cell tower. But I think at some point in time that needs to be raised. I've gotten communications back and forth between the State Historical Foundation that has said they have pulled their support because there were no agreements with the city for emergency equipment. The CUP that was issued is no longer valid, even though it ended up being issued by the members sitting at this table in the previous administration. I think there are a lot of people that would really like to put an end to this. I've talked to people that say, well, they're looking for another site. Okay, that's fine, but at some point in time, we need to be able to take this particular one and say it's either active or it's not, and in accordance with the code, it's no longer active. And I remember setting around the edge of the room at the time, several years ago, when the Honorable Judge Ohm very emphatically said, if you want to stay out of trouble, follow the code. And that goes for issues that have just been discussed as far as following the code. And if we can't follow the code, then we're not doing our jobs. Somewhere along the line, we need, if we aren't supposed to be doing something, then let's make sure that that's clarified. If there's something that somebody ought to be doing, let's clarify it. If we've got something on the table that has restricted us from doing something or allowing something to happen, and this is going on almost a year now since this happened with the tower as an example. We need to look proactively at things instead of reactive. And one of the promises I made to the voters was that we would do certain things or attempt to do certain things to progress this city, even if in its infrastructure. And we have still not, to date, sat down and developed goals and processes that are going to move us forward. I sit down and I look at a budget for capital improvement for public works and see a zero for new sewer lines. And how many years have we been talking about needing to get people off of private sewer systems, septic tanks? I've sat on the Springs Committee for over 3 years now. We've got one potential spring in this town that's even potentially potable. And then we have actions coming before planning that encourage more septic systems because, well, it's beyond the limit of what they have to do because that's only how far the sewer system runs, and if it exceeds whatever the footage is, then they can attempt to put in their own, if it clears the ADEQ requirements. So I think that people need to be aware, and they need to keep pounding at us. And I really would like to put an end to the squabbling as far as the little groups that have the control over this city, because if they think they do, I think they're sadly mistaken, whether it's for or against something. And I think we need to be able to sit down at the table like adults and not have to have innuendos going back and forth across the tables, and let's conduct business like big boys and girls, and let's make this town something to be more proud of than what we are now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeVega?
Well, I'd like to thank Mr. Pownell for a good intro into the topic that I'm going to revisit, and that is about stable government in the city. I think it's all too apparent to the voters and the people that pay attention to City Hall that we have a revolving door at City Hall. We've had 18 mayors in the last 40 years. I think Mr. Berry and myself are the longest serving council people that I can remember, and that doesn't say a lot because I know I'm in my third term. So the turnover in City Hall and city government does not allow us to fulfill our goals. Subsequent administrations come in and chart a new course for the city and disregard those projects and those items that former city administrations had charted. We've been on this course for at least the 25 years that I've been in this community, and that's why I want to revisit the topic of the city administrator form of government. Wednesday night at the auditorium, this coming Wednesday, the 25th at 6 o'clock, the president of the Arkansas City County Managers Association, who's also the assistant city manager for the city of Little Rock, and a number of other former city managers who represent the international City County Managers Association will be giving a PowerPoint presentation with a question and answer session following that. I encourage everybody in the city that wants to be informed and be empowered, because the city of Eureka Springs has available to it two forms of government. The mayor-council form, which if you look up Wikipedia at the mayor-council form, it's a form of government that's traditionally embraced by larger cities. Larger cities have more professional politicians who are more conversive and know the landscape of municipal government. Since the city administrator form, the city manager form has been instituted, it's become the most popular form of government in the United States. Don't be focused on just a city administrator, although a city administrator will provide a professional point person that could instruct new council members, new mayors. If you've noticed in the last few years, we've had virtually a complete turnover at times of mayor and council. So having a city administrator in place could be the person to provide continuity for the city that could stay focused on the major projects that the city needs to accomplish. But understand it's a comprehensive form of government. It is not just about a city manager. It encompasses staggered terms for city council. It is about increasing the number of council people from 6 to 7. And that little item of an odd number of council people will result in fewer ties. In effect, what that does is removes a bit of authority from the mayor, who would cast a deciding vote in a tie, and places it more to the legislative body of the people. And it's always good to have more people making decisions than one person. So this is a benefit to the voters in the community. One of the issues that I've received a lot of input from is switching to the city administrator form of government provides recall of elected officials. I think that is an empowerment to the voters of the community, because they will have the ability, if they feel that certain elected officials do not represent their wills, that they will be able to recall those elected officials. So I encourage everybody to tell your friends, please attend. You'll get firsthand knowledge about what the only other available form of government to the city of Eureka Springs is, and that's the city administrator form of government. There will be a comprehensive presentation. There will be a question and answer session following that. That'll be this coming Wednesday, the 25th, at the auditorium at 6 o'clock. And this is about being informed and being empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, James. I really have no comments. We do have some announcements. If you've been going by Spring Street lately in the Basin Park, you'll notice that there's somebody singing and playing up there. So we have the free concerts going on during the day. Friday is our big annual White Street Walk. I'm sure most of us have that on our calendar. Get out and see some of our old friends who only come out for White Street Walk and meet some new friends. Also going on, and I noticed our city attorney has a Miata shirt on. I think we have a Miata in the Ozarks going on right now. Right now, going on. So if you see some of those cute little cars going in, wave. It may be your city attorney. Also, Saturday is high school graduation, and those kids deserve congratulations for getting through the 12 years. Saturday, May 28th, is Mustang Show. And Monday, Memorial Day, the office will be closed. And I want you to remember this is Memorial Day weekend, or coming up. And please remember your loved ones, and drive careful, and have a very good and happy Memorial Day holiday. And other than that, I'm willing to listen for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
City of the second class.
So.